from what state, so that we can kind of know where you guys are traveling from. I'm here from Sacramento, California. I figure I drove the farthest, not flew the farthest, but I drove the farthest. Okay, so we have a few Sacramento and San Jose. Santa Barbara, Texas. We have Texas. San Francisco. We have a huge San Francisco group. Chicago in the house. All right. We also have Oklahoma. There's a group of Oklahoma. Yes. Where? Las Vegas is in the house as well. Wow. Welcome, you guys. Who else do we have here? Where? San Diego as well. San Diego. We like to thank. Thank you. Welcome. I know it's quite a drive this past few days because of the rain and flood and everything else that's happening. And we do really appreciate that you can make it here tonight. I know some folks were just traveling about 13 miles and had to spend 3 hours for 13 miles. 13 miles, 3 hours on the road. We really appreciate you for being here, and you definitely will go home with something, and it's going to be such an amazing information that you'll be hearing tonight. Anyone else from anywhere in the state? Philippines! You came from the Philippines? All right! This man here has been living in the Philippines for 6 months. I think he just got into the Philippines for our official launch, right?
Here's Ronnie.
Ooh, wonderful. Here's Ronnie. Live streaming, everyone. We are live streaming from San Gabriel.
Is it the link we use?
What is it? I'm sorry? Oh.
Somebody was
All
going
right.
to show that.
So, do you know how to live stream, Ronnie?
Yeah.
He knows how to live stream.
Well, on my Facebook.
On his Facebook.
Well, come over here.
There you go. You got a new job going, Ronnie.
Give somebody else that camera.
You just won.
It is. It's going now.
It is?
Oh, you're good?
Yes or no?
It was. It failed for about 3-4 minutes.
I'm having issues connecting on it. So, okay.
Ronnie, are you live streaming,
Okay,
Ronnie?
yes. Live stream, send it over to us when you're done.
Okay, Ronnie's going to be live streaming, so everyone put on your happy face.
Cheese.
Your makeup, your lipstick, your hair, slick it back, and say cheese. Say cheese to the camera.
Bitqyck.
Bitqyck, folks.
Bitqyck.
All right, so
I don't know where we go.
all right, let me know when we're ready to go, Brother Ronnie.
Let's go.
All right, well, we're ready to rock and roll. Welcome, everyone from all over the world, from all over nationwide, from the states of Chicago, from Illinois, from Oklahoma, from Texas, from all over the United States. We'd like to welcome you, and the Philippines as well. We'd like to welcome you. Thank you for being here on this lovely Saturday night. I'm sure you would rather be doing something else Saturday night, but thank you for being here. We have such an amazing information that we will be disseminating tonight and sharing with you. This is the most monumental time ever, folks. So just really imagine yourself being in the forefront of Uber, a $66 billion company, of Groupon, of all these social medias like the Facebook and the Google and such, and Bitcoin. Who here knows about Bitcoin? Everyone. So imagine all that company together collectively under a blockchain business model now opening up to you. And you guys have the opportunity today here to share in a piece of that, because we are giving away stocks, common stocks, share that is embedded in this company. So this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm so elated. I'm so excited about this. I've never been in any opportunity where a company is literally giving me shares of the company itself. So with that being said, folks, we are live streaming, so make sure to please keep your questions to none. okay, after the meeting. And I have the privilege also to basically introduce to you guys a panel speaker. We have a panel of speakers here today, about 5 guest speakers, and both of our co-founders is here today, and some of our VPs are here today as well. But our first presenter for today, first speaker, he has an absolutely amazing history and business etiquette and such. I've met him for a short time, actually, within this past few days. He is our VP in sales and marketing, and he has done multiple businesses, of which he has got to the highest of its peak. With our previous business, he was the #1 guy, and no one else had came close to what he performed. So definitely a great performer in art and in business, our friend, Mr. Keith Carey.
Thank you. Guys, sorry about that live stream thing going on there. You know, like I do a lot of things well, but every once in a while, something takes a little glitch and a little slide. So apologize, but we do have a live stream going here. I want to thank Saban. Saban is a rock star with you guys. Who knows Saban?
Yeah!
Saban's a rock star, right?
Yep.
Say it louder. Saban's a rock star, right?
Rock star!
There you go. No doubt about it. And you're going to meet some other rock stars up here tonight as well. Listen, guys, I've been in the direct sales business for 28 years, and I've been doing this a long time. And I've had a lot of bumps and bruises, and I've fallen flat on my face. I've broken a couple arms along the way, and I've banged my head several times. And I've also experienced the upside of this industry. And like Saban said, the last company I was in, the last several companies I was in, I've gone to the top of the company. And that's a really good feeling. I never gave up. I never gave up. And I'm assuming you guys are in the same boat. You never give up, or else you wouldn't be here in this room. You see something, you've heard something, you sense something about what's happening here tonight. Here's what I can promise you. It may not be for all of you. Some of you may walk out of here, and you may go, not right now. And I'll tell you a really quick story. When I was, gosh, it was 1980. 1980, I was waiting tables at TGI Fridays in Marina Del Rey. And I wanted to be a rock star. I had long, wavy hair. Just look on my Facebook page, you see those pictures. Long, wavy hair. Want to be a rock star. Waiting tables at the restaurant. Guy comes up to me afterwards, kind of dressed like I'm dressed right now, with a haircut very similar to my haircut right now. I didn't want to be anything like him. But he came up to me, years later, right? We grew up a little. He came up to me and he said, listen, he goes, you've got a lot of energy. I like your personality. You seem like a smart kid. We'll see after this conversation. He said, I can take you under my wing and teach you my business. Now keep in mind this was 1980. Okay, 1980. I said, what's your business? He hands me his business card. It says IBM on it. I said, IBM, okay. What do you do? He said, when you look on right there, it says Senior Vice President of International Sales and Marketing. And I said, what are you marketing? He said, something called the PC. Anybody ever heard of the PC? All of you? I think, right? Okay. Go like this. You all had one, or at least put your fingers on one at some point in your lives. There's a baby in here. She probably hasn't. Maybe she has.
She's got a cell phone.
She has a cell phone and an iPad. But he shows me this, right? And my question in 1980 was what?
What's that?
What's a PC? What's a PC? Like many of you may be asking right now, what's cryptocurrency? What's the blockchain? We're going to learn that tonight. But what happened to me is I looked at him up and down, and I said, I want to be much like this guy, but I'm willing to listen. I said, let me ask you this. He said, I think you can make millions and millions of dollars here with me. Travel all over the world, I'll teach you my business. I said, would I have to cut my hair like you? He goes, probably. And I said, would I have to wear a suit like you? And he goes, probably. I was more into the spandex thing back then. Anybody remember that with the rock and roller thing, Drew Rock, and Steve Ferry, and all those guys? Those guys, right? Not really. The tight jeans, though, definitely. And I looked at him and I gave his card back to him. I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. It's not for me. Now, what would have happened in my life? Just imagine. What would have happened in my life had I accepted that opportunity? And nobody, with the exception of a handful of people, some really smart people at the time, knew what a PC was. But does everyone in the room now know what a PC is?
Yes.
And guess what? There's going to come a time that door tonight. And there's going to come a time when you look back at this moment right now. I'm handing you an IBM card. It's not IBM, but I'm handing you that same card right now. What we're going to present to you guys tonight is exactly the same thing, and probably even much, 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 much bigger. Imagine that. And these gentlemen are going to tell you why. So my life would have changed dramatically. I'm glad, I'm happy. Look, it's taken me almost 50 years to get this other opportunity in front of me again. And I went like this. This time, I went like this. I figure I'm 58 right now. I figure I got another 30, maybe 40 years, hopefully.
We hope.
Yeah.
We hope. And you know what? I think if I live that long, maybe I'll live to be 200 with technology. Right? You never know. Anyway, guys, I want to welcome you all here tonight. Thank you for coming out. You're going to meet some really smart people. And the first person I'm going to be bringing up tonight is Sam Mendez. Sam Mendez is a lawyer. No? Was a lawyer? Was a lawyer. Okay. Sam was a lawyer. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his background and his history and what he's done. But he's going to go ahead and get right into it with you. We're going to try and keep this to about an hour. We went a little long last night. But we're going to really jam through this. We're going to go at the top speed. So would you give me a big, warm welcome to Sam Mendez? Woo!
Thank you, Keith. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out on Saturday night. As Savon pointed out, you'd rather probably be doing something else. I don't know what else. It's Saturday night. Thank you. So, a little bit about my background. I was born in Chicago, but I grew up in Southern California. I moved to Dallas, Texas, and lived there for 20 years, and I'm back in Southern California, now living in San Diego. I have been involved with technology over the last 20 years in every aspect. I'm not a developer. Close this better? Oh, yeah, much better. But I've been around technology in many ways. I started out by writing patents and trademarks when I was practicing law. And I soon understood and realized the power that technology had brought to the world, especially during the first days of the internet. I began in San Antonio, Texas, and founded a company there, raised millions of dollars for a business-to-business auction site called Orbis Online. Still around today. But that got me going into technology and the understanding that technology is changing our lives every day. And what we're about to tell you today is about technology that is changing the way things are transferred, value, the way value is transferred as we speak. I met Bruce at the beginning of the century, something about 2001 or 2002, when he was doing something fascinating with technology, but he was one of the first that married not just technology, because up till then, and even way past then, the people who were involved with technology had one thing and one thing only on their minds, and that is to perfect the technology. But in order to do that, you had to make some revenue. You had to keep things going. And the way they did it was just investment. And in the first days of the internet, in the first days of the big information revolution, that was okay. But it soon became apparent that there better be some revenue attached to technology. Bruce, my business partner and friend and colleague well, like I said, most of the century, did something magical around 2001 out of Dallas, Texas. He married a new technology, which today I don't know how many of you use autoresponders, but autoresponders are simply a software that allows you to accept an email and quickly respond to it without you actually doing anything. It's all set up. Well, back in 2001, that was new technology. But what Bruce was really adept at was marketing and selling this new technology with a story behind it. I'll let him tell you the story the way he did that, but it was magical. What was magical about it was that in less than 16 months, and I could be wrong, maybe it was 15 months, Bruce's company made $96 million in revenue. Something that up to that point, companies like Google, like eBay, like maybe not Amazon, but other companies, certainly companies that are now don't exist, MySpace, other companies hadn't made anywhere near that type of revenue. So what Bruce saw early on, what I saw early on, without being yet partners, was that technology had to marry reality. And reality is that you got to sell something. And what he brought to my world was the idea of sharing that revenue with people like us, right? So over the years, we've been involved with many projects, and projects always had one thing, if not a few things in common, but one thing for sure. And that was that we always valued those people that brought the value to us, and we rewarded those people. He did it through his knowledge of direct sales, of affiliate marketing, of telling a story, of being compelling in front of folks like us. And I thought about it in terms of how do we do it with technology? How do we do it legally? How do we do it with it being almost natural? Well, we have many projects, but the project that we believe is the greatest project of our lives is the one that we're about to tell you about. Most of you, I think, know about it, but let me tell you something about what we're doing. About a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years now, actually, Bruce and I, and through Bruce's contacts, were asked to consult to a company that was a digital currency company out of Bulgaria. And we looked at it, and we didn't know much about cryptocurrency. We didn't know much about blockchain technology. We'd heard about Bitcoin, we were involved in technology, but we didn't really know about it. Well, we accepted the consulting job, and we began to learn about blockchain, about cryptocurrency, about what it purported to do, and about its value propositions. Well, after that consulting job, we decided that we weren't going to do that particular opportunity because it came to us as an opportunity also. But we decided not to be involved with that. We then began to study blockchain and to study cryptocurrency and the promise of this technology. And the promise of blockchain technology is not just with cryptocurrency. And it wasn't just with speculation. It wasn't just with creating something that people could buy and sell with no intrinsic value. We didn't believe that. The promise of this so-called blockchain technology, which is also known as distributed ledger technology, and I'll get back to that in a second, hopefully, is that it creates a seamless platform, a seamless process to transfer value transparently, and without the intervention of third parties. It requires no trust. Well, let me tell you, folks, there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of entities that are built strictly on the fact that they claim to give us trust. They're the bridge of trust. Who are these companies? And this will bridge me to what we're doing. Companies like banks, right? Agencies, Wall Street, investment bankers, escrow companies, title companies. All these companies and many more are third-party intermediaries that are there to supposedly, I say supposedly, many of them do great jobs, but their jobs are about to change because technology does not hold back. It goes forward. So what happened was that as we looked at Bitcoin and we saw that it came out in 2009 at 2 cents, 2 cents, and is today trading at 1,060. I only say that not to, please do not take that as me saying this is what we can do or anybody else can do. But the fact is the fact that this cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the original one built on the original technology blockchain, has done that. It's gone up and down, to be sure. It's only been around for 8 years. But cryptocurrency is just one aspect of this great technology that you're going to learn about today or that you already know about. They're called blockchain or distributed ledger technology. The promise of this distributed ledger technology is what we're about to tell you. And I want to make a really an emphasis on a couple of things here. Number one, when Bruce and I decided that we were going to create Bitqyck, which is a Groupon competitor, we decided also that we were going to introduce its own cryptocurrency, Bitqy. We also decided that whatever we did, we were going to do it here. I don't mean San Gabriel or the Hilton. I'm just saying here, we're an American company, so we decided we were going to be an American corporation, and we were going to create an American cryptocurrency. And we're going to build it on at least one premise, maybe obviously more. But one of them was that we were going to do it right. And that means a lot of moving parts, folks, a lot of moving parts. But here's what we decided. Okay, the promise of blockchain technology is the transfer of value. The transfer of value without the need for intermediaries. So when you pay for something, Maria, right, with Bitcoin to somebody in Monterrey, or you pay with Bitcoin to somebody in Tokyo or Beijing, you don't have to have a bank, do you? You don't. Intermediary gone, trust factor not needed, it's done. Well, what about if you could transfer title to a car, title to real estate? How about title to a stock certificate? How about that? How about if you could do something like that? And what does that mean? That means that you could transfer ownership seamlessly, effortlessly, without the need of trust, and more importantly, or just as important, compliantly. And I know we'll get into that later, but the point is that's the promise of blockchain, the transfer of value. So we decided, okay, let's transfer value as we build this company, Bitqyck, as we build this Groupon competitor. And that's just the first phase. That's just the first business model. As we build this, let's transfer the ownership of it to those that create value for the company. So here's what we did. We created a corporation in Texas, a C corporation. It's not important. It's what you do if you're going to be a big company. You don't do an S corporation or a limited liability corporation. You do a C corporation. That is the most transparent, and you have to be most compliant. Number one, we authorized 1 billion shares of common stock. Okay, very important. 1 billion shares of common stock, and no other class of stock was created or will ever be created. Ever be created. Then we also authorized 10 billion Bitqy are cryptocurrency tokens or coins. We built this our Bitqy cryptocurrency on a new technology called Ethereum, using smart contracts in Ethereum. And that's a song for another day, as someone sings. But what happens there is we took 1/10 of every share in Bitqyck, 1/10, and embedded it into each coin, each token of Bitqy. Do the math. 1 billion shares of stock, 10 billion tokens or coins of Bitqy, each with a 1/10 of a share. All of our shares are embedded in our cryptocurrency. But and Bruce will explain how that transfer of ownership is going to happen in terms of process and mechanically. But here's what we're doing. Who gives value to Bitqyck? Who gives value to Groupon? Who gives value to Amazon or eBay? Well, I'll tell you. Businesses, like Mr. Kenneth Lewis Sr.'s businesses in Chicago, his restaurants and the businesses he's had throughout a lifetime of entrepreneurship, a successful entrepreneurship, businesses, the consumers who buy from those businesses create value. And you know who else does? Because this is the model that my partner chose, is us, you. Because affiliates are going to bring the businesses and are going to bring the consumers to Bitqyck and to the platform as we grow it. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do just like Groupon, perhaps just like Uber someday, perhaps just like Airbnb someday, perhaps just like Amazon someday, perhaps just like, well, anyway, you get the idea. So what we're going to do is, for doing whatever you would do on these types of platforms like Groupon, we're also going to reward every one of those classes of users, businesses, consumers, and affiliates that brought those consumers in, Bitqy. Bitqy, and how that works, Bruce will explain, but get this. When you hold Bitqy, what do you hold? You hold ownership. Ownership in Bitqyck. Ownership. Look, here's something that we talked about earlier today with the group. Fiat currencies. You know what fiat currencies are, right? Fiat currencies are the dollar, euro, yen, peso, etc. Those are fiat currencies. Fiat currencies are backed by central banks, right? The central bank in every country runs the monetary policy that creates the value behind a fiat currency. Our central bank is called what? Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve sets monetary policy in this country. And that's what sets the value of our dollar. Among other things, no doubt. What creates the value for Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency? Us. Users. Whatever we buy and sell from each other, whatever amounts we're willing to, and you know what that is? You know what that's called? It's that old process called supply and demand. Supply and demand. That's what creates value ultimately. But we thought, we're going to do that with Bitqy anyway. That's going to be there. We will have that anyway. But what if we could also give it a value, a continuous value of something that was real, that's economic, that's commerce, that's commercial, that's transparent and visible in the community of technology, of commerce, and of course, of the affiliate marketing. What if we could do that? Wouldn't that be great? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're doing it as we speak, as a matter of fact. So, I would ask you this, I would tell you this, that as you listen to today's presentation, what I've said, what Bruce is about to say, what Keith will continue to say, and Saban, and Mr. Kenneth Lewis, Sr., I always love that. But keep in mind that what we've done here, what we're doing here, no one's ever done, no one's ever done what we're about to do. We are going to circumvent Wall Street and Washington. Yes. Somebody asked me today, said, well, that's like it seems like that's like an IPO. Well, you said it, I didn't. There's no reason why we can't transfer ownership in our company to those who create value to us from the get-go. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, and that's what we're going to do. So, will we make the news? Yes, I imagine we will. But we think that the technology, the atmosphere, the environment around commerce, around technology, not just here in the United States, but around the world, is ready for this. And we just happen to be the first. So, anyway, enjoy your night, enjoy the